Massage therapy is wonderful. It has its place in many arenas, provided that it is utilized into its fullest capacity. So massage helps with your body naturally jumping into its own healing. So it's less invasive.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Stronger for Today show, brought to you by Method3 Fitness, where we interview and connect with Bay Area leaders to elevate the health and wellness of our community and help them live stronger for today. I am joined today with Miss Crystal Perretta of Harmonia Bodyworks, correct?
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. So Crystal, I thought I'd start, and I'll let you dive into what Harmonia Bodyworks is in a second here, but kind of how our paths crossed. I know we were looking at Method3 for a licensed massage therapist that we could connect with and align with and network with, and looking for someone specifically to be like in and around Method3, right, where we have a space for it. And I remember kind of reaching out, I think via email, to some of our partners at Method3, and hearing back from one of them, Ben, I believe, Hartzell, that recommended you. And then just in conversation, and obviously raved about you. And then in conversation, probably like, I don't know, within a week, I randomly connected with another friend of mine, Eric Quick, also a partner at Method3, who also brought your name up. And I'm like, okay, there's something about this Crystal gal. This is just meant to be. And then obviously got the chance to meet with you and connect with you, and super excited to have you doing the great work that you do with and for a lot of the partners in Method3. Maybe just first, anyway, that was really cool. That's why I was like, this is a connection that needed to be made, that obviously partners were already kind of helping the stars align, which I thought was really cool. So maybe you can start off with just telling us more about you, about Harmonia Bodyworks, how you got it started, and what kind of you specialize in today.
I started Harmonia Bodywork back in 2017, the later portion. So basically going into 2018. And I happened to find just an amazing job listing that created the opportunity for me to create this first child of mine. And it was wonderful. I met every criteria. So I was scared at first, much like anything worth doing is always a little scary. That's how you know it's worth jumping after. So I went for it, and I happened to have that very wonderful Ben Hartzell. He's been one of my diehard regulars for about the last 9 years. It's a rough estimate. He's been one of my favorite clients because he never has a boring body. He likes to work it. He likes to live in it. He likes to find ways to find more space to have him live his best life. So that's been amazing. In my first studio space that I was renting out from, that I started really, that was how I met Eric. And Eric was also a wonderful body to work on, always having little areas that I needed to work with, which was wonderful. He definitely does not have a boring body. So some people think massage is very linear, that you go in, you have that relaxation, you come out, you're zoned out, you feel great until your body tells you, hey, that felt wonderful. Let's go back and recreate that again, because we have a very terrible muscle memory. So muscles like to remember the terrible posture, all of that fun stuff with the compensation and how everything is connected. So once one thing goes back to what it knew, the rest of the body tends to follow. So it's been a wonderful journey. I enjoy applying a lot of therapeutic sports related techniques. It really just depends on what that particular person's body is presenting for me. So the more details that I can get about what their main issue is that day, or what is an ongoing issue that we can work to get them out of their pain patterns, then that gives me more ammunition to really hone in, not just on the part that is screaming the loudest, but really the other members of the band, if you will, that play a role in this. So then we can go ahead and address the other muscles that kind of pull and create that dysfunction, which to me is just gold. I love it. I tell my clients, please bring me all of these gifts that keep giving you issues, because then I can just
Yeah.
really jump right in, and it's my absolute joy. I love helping people out of pain. I love helping them live their best life and create all of that space so that way they can enjoy their bodies in
Yeah.
everything that they do.
Absolutely. And I think that's a big piece of how we're aligned, because that's, what we're here at Method 3 to do, is to help people live stronger for today, to enjoy the things they want to enjoy each and every successive year and decade and everything else, so that you can be, rocking in your 80s just like you are in your 30s and 40s.
Exactly.
So when did you know that like massage was your thing? That was like your gift that you wanted to share with the world and really help people. When did you realize that?
I wish I would have realized it a lot earlier than I did. I came to that epiphany when I was in my mid 20s. I was working retail for the longest time. I had a roommate who was diabetic and also was working retail. So when you're on your feet a lot, you tend to create a lot of areas that, hold tension, stress, pain, and you just
Sure.
kind of power through it because it's what you know, it's what you've normalized. So after we would both have long days of work, one day I was just like, hey, can you give me a back massage? And he gave me a back massage, obviously not a professional one, but for what it was at the time, it worked wonders. And so we started trading with each other every night. And he caught on to my tactics when I would fall asleep during my massage. So then he's like, you know what, we're going to start with me first. So helping him out of pain was kind of the starting point. And then
Catalyst. Yeah.
eventually I was working in a retail store with my now husband, and he'd had a customer come in and rave about this wonderful massage school. So I did my due diligence and researched a few in the area just to make sure if that was the one that I wanted to pursue. And once I felt that was the one, I went, I did a tour. They allowed me to sit in on some of the classes, and I have never been one to be particularly proficient in academia. It's not my best friend. However,
Mm,
I just felt that I was exactly where I needed to be. There was a weight lifted, and I just wanted to dive into more of the material that they happened to be covering that day.
sure.
So I signed all the paperwork to start my massage journey, and it's been the best decision I've ever made. It's made me incredibly happy. And in turn, I get a lot of clients who, after seeing me for one session, I always try to get them to rebook, which 98% of the time they do. And when they
Wow.
come back, they
Excellent.
report that they felt so much better, that they have had a decrease in pain, an increase in range of motion. And so having that positive feedback really reinforces my goal in life to continue to help people out of their pain and have them live a stronger, healthier life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that. So what do you find, Crystal, then? I'm sure people are kind of curious, twofold, I guess, just to know that they're like not alone, right? Is what do you see as the most common, I hate to call them problems, issues, muscular aches and pains that people come in with that they want you to work on? What do you feel like they're the top two or three that you always see?
Neck and shoulders, and then hips, and all of
Neck and
those.
shoulders and hips. Got it.
Yeah.
So my follow-up to that, then, I'm sure, is what people are kind of curious about is, okay, massage therapy definitely has its role. And I think you probably can like dive in a little bit more of like what makes that so much more effective and useful as kind of like a tool in the tool belt, right? As it relates to improving movement patterns and reducing pain and things like that. Is there anything though that you kind of time and time again, and I know every person's a little bit different, but time and time again, you'll kind of instruct some of your clients you see, hey, for neck and shoulders, try to do these like two or three things consistently, right? Or hey, for your hips, here's the top 1, 2, 3 things, stretches, whatever it may be that you find that are like the most useful. And again, I know everyone's situation and bodies are just a little bit different, but is there anything you've gleaned over the years that like some of our audience watching could kind of have as a takeaway on things they can do to definitely not replace, obviously, massage therapy? It's quite different than just trying to stretch yourself. But anything that you found that's been really helpful for people to maybe alleviate some of those things in between their sessions with you?
Simple stretching. Keep it simple because more people are inclined to continue that. So if they're working out and they're getting a massage, they're helping their muscles get strength, but then massage helps with elongating and stretching and creating that range of motion. And so that fluidity within their
Mm,
bodies. For neck and shoulders, I usually suggest a few techniques that you would find in physical therapy. So any use
mm,
of like a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, or even just a towel, depending on which area needs the stretch, needs the attention. For
yeah.
hips, it's typically a couple of desk stretches because in the Silicon Valley, everybody tends to basically live at home and their desk. So
A lot of
creating a
sitting.
way for
Yep.
them to stand up, get a little movement, hydrate a little before they put their blinders up is ultimately wonderful. In fact, I used to be an on site massage therapist at a tech company that's local. And so I would go in, I would provide 15-minute massages. People could come in, sign up. I would have this entire scroll just printed out on the front window so that way people passing by could see what time their appointment was for. And if somebody missed their appointment, they missed their appointment. However, my schedule was booked up from 9 a.m. to about 3 p.m. when I would leave.
Wow.
And that was when the next massage therapist would take over for the evening. And it's great. I've actually maintained quite a few of those clients, and I haven't been the on-site massage therapist for that company since COVID and the shutdown happened. So I'm
Wow.
incredibly blessed that they still kept me in mind to help me help them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, um, certain things then with the lacrosse ball and whatnot, you'll show certain clients you have like, hey, in between sessions, try to utilize this, excuse me, in between your shoulder blades or in this particular area,
Yes.
which can, yes. Okay. Got it. What about the hips then? What do you kind of instruct them to do there?
Depends on if they're sitting down at a chair, like typical. I'll have them do a figure four stretch. Depending on which area of the hip they're feeling, will determine if they should lean forward so they could also benefit from a low.
Sure. Yep. 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 That's awesome. So ultimately what I'm hearing is just, keep it simple for the stretches, but just do something for the stretches. So why do you, right. So just so people understand that, I guess, they're probably, some could be thinking, okay, well, why is massage therapy better than stretching, or how does it complement it? Right. So in my opinion, I always viewed, massage therapy, one's not necessarily better than the other. They're just different. They're useful tools to promote, better well-being, recovery, everything else within your body. So can you speak to why massage therapy is such an important tool to have as it relates to just overall health and wellness and longevity and moving your body the way you want to move? Why is that such an important tool? How is it different than some of these other modalities? Sorry, we lost you there for a little bit, Crystal. Hold on a sec. Let's see. So same question. I think we just lost maybe a little bit of signal there. I think we can try. Yeah, let's try that again.
Hello again.
Hey, okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Massage therapy is wonderful. It has its place in many arenas, provided that it is utilized into its fullest capacity. So massage helps with your body naturally jumping into its own healing. So it's less invasive. It's helpful because a great massage therapist knows not only one modality will help that person's body. So you can do stretching, you can do
Mm,
assisted stretching, you can do range of motion, you can go back and forth with releasing an area, doing a test, whether that's a stretch, a passive range of motion, an active range of motion, and you will find that it will increase because the muscle will slowly let go and will allow for that movement to happen. The one thing that I find pretty common is that everybody feels a little awkward to let someone else take control of their limbs without helping move it around, which sometimes that does not help at all. So
sure.
I usually am very tongue in cheek with my clients when I tell them, like, you don't get a discount for helping me work unless prompted. And often they'll ask me, where should I put my arms or my hands? And I said, don't worry about it. I will move you around however your body needs me to.
Right. Yes. So appreciate that. Sorry, we cut out just a little bit there. So I think we're back on. So let me move to just a different question. I'm always curious for people kind of within their own respective area of expertise, right? Massage therapy for you, a specific story or two that come to mind of, one or two clients you worked on that just made amazing changes with you. Like just like the two stories or one or story, whatever it is for you. I'm sure there's many that come to mind that are like this is why I do massage therapy, for the amazing change, the positive, feedback I got from this person on how it literally changed their life. Do you have a story or two like that you can share with us?
Well, I've got a few. A couple of them,
Excellent.
the main issue was hips. And especially in our older years, we tend to develop a myriad of dysfunctions, one of which is usually arthritis. So I've had a member who sees me every month. She told me that she was experiencing some dysfunction, my word, not hers, with her hips. It was just a normalcy for her to experience pain, whether she was working out, strengthening, everything. So she came in, I worked on her hips for about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer because our initial appointment was for an hour. And she came back 2 weeks later to express that it changed the way she moved. She was able to have a better flow with her workout. She was able to interact with her grandkids more. She was able to sleep without it being interrupted. And that just makes my heart happy. So I've
Yes.
seen bodies that were as young as 12 who are athletics, and they're in basketball, volleyball, soccer, the works. And then my eldest client is well into her 90s, still living at home, still cognizant, goes on
Love it.
weekly walks. And so I see her monthly. She happened to be my former neighbor's mother-in-law. And I just saw her this past week. So she's very fresh in my mind. And she also handles life with arthritis and needing some assistance. But I hope that if I live to her rightful age, that I'm able to move around as well as she does. She gets massages that are more along the lines of relaxation. However, we do address her wonderful hips that tend to give her some issues, but she's walking around, she's able to sleep, she's able to do everything
That's
that any
amazing.
normal body
Yeah.
would want. So that makes me incredibly happy. And the fact that I can just help her enjoy her years with her family, her body, enjoying the walks along West Cliff Drive in Santa Cruz. It's wonderful. It's a
Awesome.
very fulfilling career path that I've chosen, and it's definite.
Absolutely.
I've got more than a fair share of guinea pigs anytime I want to dust off a technique I haven't utilized in some time. My husband is usually one. My infant son, who's not really an infant, more of a toddler now, doesn't appreciate it yet, but I know he will.
Yes, yes, one day for sure. We're big fans of little mini massages with the kids here as well. I mean, I think there's something pretty powerful about just physical touch as well, right? And depending on the person, right, whether they're, you know, have a significant other or not, one doesn't know the level of physical touch they receive, right, in their life. And I think that can be a
Yes,
pretty powerful, you know, healing tool in and of itself, whether it's maybe not necessarily just the musculoskeletal system, but more of the psyche, right, that it affects. So
precisely. Yes, massage
yeah, I
involves
think
everything from the body, the mental, spiritual. Every time anybody comes across my table, they have a moment where they'll either talk their entire session, which is fair and fine. I only indulge as much as they give me, but I
that could be
always
me
make sure
sometimes.
to
Yeah.
add that element of just disconnect. So if they're able to just doze off even for just 5 minutes, they'll usually wake themselves up and apologize that I'm sorry, I wasn't present. I said, no, your body needed you to disconnect. You do not always need to be on all the time. That's what I'm here for. So
And
that is very wonderful. The human touch is amazing.
I want to make sure I reflect back what you just said right there, because I think in this day and age, it's really important. It's that when people, whether they close their eyes for a few minutes, stop talking to you for a few minutes, fall asleep for a few minutes, that disconnect is so important, that their body was actually telling them like that's what they needed in that moment. And it's almost like you're giving them permission when you say something like that to say, you don't have to be on all the time. That was what I wanted to reflect back right there. I think
Precisely.
that's really important. If there's one takeaway, as you know, amongst the myriad of benefits you can get with massage therapy, it's that reminder that this is time for yourself. It's to improve your body, your wellness, how you can live stronger for today, but also it's just to disconnect, because so many of us always feel like we are tethered, always feel like we are on all the time, whether it's from a technological standpoint or just serving all the roles in our life, right? And I think
Exactly.
the beautiful part about what you're doing is you're kind of giving people this fantastic, safe, just open, great energy space to literally put all of that time into themselves, right? Which,
Yes.
I mean, many of us, myself included, don't take the time to do all the time, right? Like we prioritize others without prioritizing ourselves. And I always come back to those, it's like you're in the airplane, right? And it's like, adults with children next to you, put your safety mask on first and then assist them. And it's like, yet for so many of us in so many walks of our lives here, we're not doing that. We're not trying to serve ourselves first because sometimes it doesn't feel right, or there's other people that need it. Like we literally rationalize why we should be last. And it's something we talk about with our partners in Method 3 quite a bit, is that, we commend them for the step they're taking just to join forces with us, right? Just to put that time into themselves, because I'm just such a huge believer that when we do that, right, we get such a return on investment. Like when they're spending time with you to disconnect, to get these things alleviated, they feel less pain. You touched on all of them. They feel less pain. They feel better. They feel lighter. They feel more positive. They sleep better, which, gosh, I mean, that's one thing that so many people are missing out on, is like the incredible benefits of uninterrupted sleep. And when you capture all those things and they start to realize that by like investing in myself and doing massage or workouts or whatever it is for them, I actually have more of me to share with the people in my life. I have more of me to serve in the various roles that are important to me in my life, whether it be family, kids, work, professional, whatever it may be. So I just love that you touched on that. I really wanted to make sure that I got highlighted. It's awesome. So why, at the end of the day, like what makes you feel inspired to continue to do the work that you do, Crystal? Because I know, we all have these, and I'm right with you. Like I love the fulfillment, the purpose behind what we do. But sometimes, we all have like those days, right, where it doesn't feel like that. So what continues to keep you coming back to this, saying like, yes, this is what I do. This is why I do it. And even during the ebbs and flows of like the days where it could be more challenging than others, I'm going to keep coming back to it because this is my gift. Like what keeps you feeling inspired to share this?
Well, sharing my personal space of my studio and providing the best massage really helps me feel like I am giving forward the best version of myself daily. So even if there's a tough
Man,
day where I just either notice that there's just sleep interruptions, a fussy child, or traffic, what little I experience because I have minimized my commute significantly. I used to have to drive over a couple of freeways just to get to my space. And I just made this space my little oasis of Zen. So I make sure that I get here with enough time, even if it's just for 2 minutes, to do some breathing exercises to help quell that loud, anxious voice that's just holding on to those little grudges of like, oh, these people were driving slow, or my child just woke up every 3 hours and now I'm insane. It brings me back to my Zen spot. So if I can have this little area to provide that sense for anybody walking through, whether that's a member or a coach or an ongoing client who has seen me for almost a decade, that makes me feel like I am the best version of myself. If I can give them a moment to distract themselves from their hustle and bustle of their lives with work, with family, with friends, with definitely going back to investing in themselves to allow themselves to be the best versions of themselves as well. And that actually came up
absolutely.
just yesterday with one of the members. His name is Brian Martin, and he and I chat for a
Mr.
little
Brian,
while.
yes.
Yes. And he said, and I could not agree more, that after, you might be rushing in to go to class for group class or semi-private, and you just, at the end of that class, you feel amazing. You just want to do more for yourself with yourself. So if you go in, you get that wonderful feeling from just doing a very challenging group class. Invest in yourself. Give
Yeah.
yourself the time to get a massage
Yeah.
and just be pampered even for an hour or maybe an hour and a half. I utilize many different
Yeah.
techniques. It's not just one size fits all. It depends on the muscles, the temperament of the person. I can utilize a
Sure.
massage gun if we really want to break down some of that scar tissue. It could use myofascial scraping tool, which is one of my all-time favorites. However, it does look a little more intimidating than it is. So that doesn't get
Sure.
used half
Yep.
as much.
Yep.
But I tell you, I feel like an absolute wizard when I get to utilize my hot stones or hot towels. And hot towels are great. That really seals the deal. It's like my little signature of like,
Mm,
this is me saying
yeah.
goodbye to your back. This is me saying goodbye to your feet. Usually at the foot portion, everybody's like, oh no, that means it's over. I said, it is. But you know what? You
Yeah.
be relaxed and you get to be the best version of yourself to everyone you encounter from this point until the next time I see you.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, Crystal. Well, and I think it's like, so often we forget that, all of us, collectively have a role in trying to, I want to say pay it forward, but really just like help in our own little way, right? Whatever job, profession, thing we're doing, there is an impact of what it is. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that. And so I think it's so fantastic that you have a nice kind of centering process every time, every day, right? To like let go of what's happening outside and kind of center and create that oasis of Zen, like you said, because that allows you, I'll tell you, like the best massages I got were always from people like yourself that were able to create that space. And I'd say that energy, right? Because you feel it. If they're not right, even as they're giving you a massage, you're going to feel it almost through them into you, that it's like, it's not creating this calming sense that you want. But what a gift that you're able to, do those exercises for yourself, which puts you in the best space to share not just all these amazing tools, which get me really excited to get a massage, honestly, just hearing you talk about all these things, but all these amazing tools you have, but then the energy that you're creating in the space that you're able to help kind of like pass on to the person you're working on via those tools, right?
Exactly.
So it's just such an incredible gift. I think so many things that lend themselves to helping people on a multitude of levels, right? They're coming in thinking, I got these like sore muscles and some knots and things like that. And they're leaving with those things alleviated, but also less pain, feel better, more positive, very relaxed, like all these different things. Now I'm going to sleep better. And I've just always been such a big believer in the more that we can take care of ourselves as it relates to the large, broad scope or brush of like what translates to health and wellness, like with what we're putting into our bodies for nutrition and hydration and our sleep and what kind of fitness we're doing and what kind of recovery things we're doing. Because the more of those things we're able to do to take care of ourselves, to your point, and which I've heard you echo many times, allows you to be and live the best version of yourself. And I'll say beyond that, helps you like even enjoy that life as your best self,
Yes.
right?
I mean, you only get one so far that
So
we
that's
know
awesome.
of, so make the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Well, on that note, I'll conclude. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, to connect,
Thank
to hear
you,
more about
John.
what you do. Yeah, the magic you're working with these people. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
I do as well, so just make your appointment with me and we'll get you all settled.
I love it. Sounds good. We'll do. Have a great day, Crystal.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.